So the next keynote will be about liquid staking, which makes crypto more capital efficient. And who will be better to talk about it than Jeroen Develter? He is from Persistence. Welcome, Jeroen.
Hello, good morning, cosmonauts. So my name is Jeroen, and I'm working with Persistence. Today I'll be guiding you guys through liquid staking and how with Persistence we're actually building a liquid staking hub whereby we want to make liquid staked assets the default assets of the proof of stake economy. Now, before I start, want to kind of get a feel for the audience a little bit. So by putting up your right hand, show me who of you is currently actively staking and thereby earning staking rewards. Oh, all right, a lot of people. Now, by using your left hand, show me who is currently actively doing some things in DeFi, thereby earning yields in DeFi. Left hands? All right, cool. Now, third and last question, who of you is currently doing both of these at the same time with the same assets? Put up your two hands. All right, more than I thought, so some people already familiar with liquid staking. That makes sense. All right, let's start with telling a bit more about Persistence. So for those who don't know, Persistence is a Cosmos-based layer 1 powering an ecosystem of DeFi products. So as said, we wanted to be the liquid staking hub, thereby making liquid staked assets the default assets of the proof of stake economy, which continues to grow. And therefore, we launched P-Stake. P-Stake is a protocol, liquid staking protocol built on Persistence that unlocks the liquidity of staked assets, thereby allowing you to earn staking rewards and remain liquid and basically use your assets in DeFi to generate additional yield. So next time someone asks you the question at a conference, you'll be able to put up both hands if you know what liquid staking is and what P-Stake is. Now, what does this all mean and what is this all about? Like, what's proof of stake? I'm sure a lot of people in the audience are already familiar with it, so I'm going to keep it quite short. But in short, proof of stake is a consensus mechanism which basically allows us to validate certain blocks onto the blockchain. In a typical delegated proof of stake network, as we know it from Cosmos, people actually are able to stake their tokens onto a validator who then goes on and kind of provides that economic security to the chain by validating transactions and by proposing blocks. In return, the validators and the stakers earn staking rewards, and those staking rewards are obviously a nice yield that you generate by at the same time securing the network. Now, proof of stake emerged as an alternative to proof of work, which is well known from Bitcoin, and currently about 60% of all networks is using proof of stake. Now, Ethereum, as you guys might have heard of, is soon also moving from a proof of work consensus mechanism towards a proof of stake consensus mechanism, again highlighting the importance and the increased importance of proof of stake. And this merge is supposed to be happening later this year, so that will be a big event for the proof of stake industry at large, which is currently, including Ethereum, with a total market cap of around $378 billion. So that's quite huge. Of those, at the moment, approximately 20 billion comes from Cosmos networks or Cosmos-based chains, not included Binance there because I took it as a separate ecosystem. But there's a lot of other ecosystems such as Avalanche, Solana, where proof of stake is the main consensus mechanism. Now, Total value staked, which is actually the important part, it's about how much economic security your chain basically provides. Because only the assets that are staked onto the network are actually providing economic security. And we see that out of the market cap of 378 billion, only about 108 billion of those assets is currently staked. Of course, Ethereum only has about 10%, which plays a big part in that number. But basically, that means it's quite important for every network to try and keep that staking ratio up as high as they can. Now, brings me to the challenges of the network and of the network participants with proof of stake. And the first thing is that if you want to launch a network on proof of stake, you need to put together a strong validator set to make this work, and that takes a lot of effort. Tokens need to be staked to provide security to the chain, as I just mentioned, and stake needs to be distributed enough to keep things well decentralized, because it wouldn't make sense to put 40% of all tokens onto one validator. That wouldn't be decentralized. Now, while those tokens that are staked, they provide security, they can't be used anywhere else, which might somehow be necessary. You need some liquid tokens for trading, maybe for some funding, for other things. So there's quite a few challenges coming with proof of stake. Now, for the participants, for the users basically, running validator infrastructure yourself is quite tricky, so you need to have a lot of technical knowledge. If you don't, that's fine. You can do delegated proof of stake, so you can delegate your tokens to validators who've done that for you. But you still need to do your research, basically. You need to understand which validator you're delegating to. You might be lured into certain validators that offer 0% commission, but those might not be the most secure place to stake your assets. So there's a trade-off to be made, and you need to do some research. Now, once you've chosen your validator, basically you stake your tokens, and then you're actually locked in for a while. If you want to get your tokens back, you'll typically have to wait for the unbonding period, typically 14 or 21 days, to get your asset back. And in the meantime, you can't do anything else with your tokens. So it's basically relatively inefficient use of your capital. So you can't be using those tokens in DeFi. Now, of course, with persistence, having our own proof-of-stake network, we know quite a bit about it, and we've had quite a journey ourselves. So let me guide you through that, how that went. So we were quite early in proof-of-stake. We weren't the absolute first, but we were quite early. And we participated in a lot of testnets, some of them incentivized testnets, and we helped to launch multiple networks since 2018. In the meantime, we also built out Audit One. Audit One is the infrastructure and validator arm of Persistence, with which we actually are active on 26 networks as a validator, securing over 300 million assets under delegation, thereby becoming one of the largest validators in Southeast Asia. Now, I think it was Q4 2020, we came up with something called Stake Drop, where basically we did a very targeted stake drop of XPRT tokens, so the persistence tokens, to people who are staking tokens on different networks. With that, we attracted more than 3,000 stakers, with a total amount of 1 billion assets staked to earn XPRT, basically. And that's when we realized that people were actually looking for extra yield on stake tokens. In the meantime, we also launched our own mainnet, so Persistence Core proof-of-stake chain, with which we now have over 1 million transactions. We have 75 active validators, and we have a bonding ratio of about 86%, which is one of the highest in the industry. So the bonding ratio is the amount of tokens that is actually staked compared to the total supply of tokens. So 86% is pretty high in that sense. Now, with all of this, we also followed up in what was going on in the industry, And in the industry itself, some of our colleagues and friends started talking about something that was called liquid staking. So we got involved into these workshops, and that's where the idea about liquid staking and p-stake emerged. So we started working on p-stake in, I think it was December 2020, and basically from there on, we started with the what's it called? The proof of concept, basically, or the MVP was ready in February 2021. Testnet was live in June 2021, and our mainnet was launched in July 2021. Now, so we've been in the industry in the liquid staking space for quite some time now. So we were hoping that everyone around us is very much aware of what's going on. So yesterday night, the Persistence team went out in Prague to go and have a look and see how well known p-stake is and liquid staking in general. Next thing is a little meme video. The subtitles are quite important, so try to make sure you read them.
Я думал, намного лучше будет это все. И очень плохая музыка, просто очень плохая музыка. Я думал, намного лучше это все будет. Сколько раз сюда ходил, было намного лучше. Но на этот раз как-то не удалось. Во-первых, народу мало, музыка не очень.
А что за направление?
А?
Что за направление?
Направление? Какое направление?
Что за направление музыки играет там?
So we can see people in Prague are very excited about this. Anyway, not sure if the video was 100% clear, so let me recap a few things about liquid staking. So basically, liquid staking protocols allow users to stake their assets, and in return, they get something that we call SDK assets. So if you look at the screen, you have the user on the left, you have the liquid staking protocol, in our case, p-stake, in the middle of the slide. And basically, the user deposits his assets into the protocol and immediately gets SDK assets out of the protocol. Now, what the protocol does is basically it goes on and stakes those tokens, the assets itself, onto the network, onto a set of validators. And they are typically well-selected validators, good reputation, and to make sure that at least they are staked with a reputable validator which meets certain performance criteria. In some of the protocols, also in some of our products, we actually use a on-chain scoring mechanism where these parameters and these requirements are basically set and monitored on-chain, and the validator set is automatically adjusted based on that. Either way, tokens are staked with the validators, which will start earning rewards. These rewards will go to the protocol, and the protocol will pass those rewards on to the users. Now, what you need to know is that there are differences in between the protocols in ways of implementing this. Some protocols use an exchange-based or an exchange rate-based token. Other protocols use a rebasing token as a liquid stake token, and some others use a dual token model. Now, that's quite technical, and I don't want to go into much detail on that today. But just once you go out there and start liquid staking, make sure you understand the tokenomics and what exactly the protocol is offering, whether it's p-stake or whether it's other protocols. Make sure you know the tokenomics behind it. We've been talking about these SDK assets or staked assets, but what are they again? So just a quick reminder. So if you stake, you know that your tokens are actually locked because you're securing the chain. Now, you're earning staking yield, which is nice, but you're also subject to an unbonding period, as we discussed earlier. And of course, there's slashing risks. If your validator gets slashed, a part of your stake might get slashed as well. Now, the SDK assets or the staked assets are actually very similar. However, they're like an elevated version of it. Basically, they do allow you to unlock your liquidity, thereby allowing you to gain additional yields in DeFi, for example. Of course, you can also instantly exit your staked position by just selling your STK assets on a DEX, where there would be an STK asset trading pair. And then lastly, the staking protocol could also come with mitigated slashing risks, where it's something we're still working on with pStake, but basically some type of an insurance mechanism that, in case of slashing, covers the loss in one way or another. Now that we have these staked assets, what can we do with them? And this might look like a complicated slide, but it's actually not. So let's start with what you see in the middle. So big black box, which is the persistence chain with the XPRT token, where you can see the pStake protocol, which is built on top of it. As you know, in pStake, users can deposit and stake tokens, basically, or stake their assets, and in return, they would get liquid staked assets or STK assets that were issued by pStake. And now this is where it gets interesting. So these STK assets, you're not just going to hold them in your wallet. No, that would be kind of beating the purpose a little bit. So you would basically be able to use those staked assets into different things to try and get more yield, thereby becoming more capital efficient. So you could, for example, provide liquidity on a DEX, thereby earning the trading fees that are generated by that. You could use your STK assets as collateral in a borrowing lending protocol, for example. Or if we look closer in our ecosystem, like we have Asset Mantle, where you could potentially buy or sell NFTs with STK assets. And if you look at Comdex, you would be able to maybe use your STK assets in a vault or something to mint synthetics, all possible. And the cool thing here is that these are just a few use cases, but there are actually a lot more out there, and we're really looking for people to come and build those use cases with us. And top of mind, there's a few things that you can think of. Is like, if you go into borrowing lending, for example, and you have yield-bearing assets, you could really do some cool stuff, like self-repaying loans, for example. You could think about things like a no-loss lottery, where you're staking, and basically the staking rewards are kind of put into a lottery type of thing. There's so many cool things that you can do because your assets are actually yield-bearing. Yeah, that's basically what we're doing and what we're working on. Forgot to mention one thing. So you see CosmWasm on the left there. Something we'll be enabling in June. So basically, you can come and build smart contracts onto persistence chain to cater for any type of use cases that we can think of. Now, pStake itself has been live for a bit, but we're also rapidly expanding into more assets. We're currently active with STK XPRT and STK Atom on Ethereum. That has been live for quite a while now. Later this week, we are launching STK ETH, which would be a solution to liquid stake your ETH. We're also in the last phases of testing on our STK Sol solution, so that will also come out this month. And then next month, we'll have STK AVAX for Avalanche, and we'll have STK BNB for Binance, and thereby we're backed by Binance Lab to deliver that. And then, of course, we'll have STK XPRT and STK Atom in another version, basically, where we'll, instead of issuing them on Ethereum, we'll issue them on the persistence chain, which is IBC enabled, again, opening up to a lot of different use cases through IBC. Now, you might ask, why did we not do that from the beginning, which is a question we've had many times. It's like, why did you guys do this on Ethereum? And the answer is actually pretty simple. Like I told you about our journey, and we started thinking about liquid staking way before there was anything on Cosmos like IBC, or there was no DEX, there was no osmosis on Cosmos yet. So basically, we were thinking of liquid staking, and the use case is really like to generate additional yield. But if we would have done it back then on persistence, couldn't have generated any additional yield. So that's why we went to Ethereum at first. But now, with a lot of innovation coming out into the Cosmos ecosystem, we're looking at issuing those on persistence itself. In Q3, we'll also do more and more other Cosmos-based assets. And of course, we're very excited to see the innovation that is going on in the liquid staking space, especially within the Cosmos. I know there's a lot of projects working on the same things. Lido is coming. We have Quicksilver. We have Staffy. There's a lot of different teams working on this, so we're super excited to see the next couple of months of innovation within the liquid staking space. And of course, I mean, I mentioned briefly, like there's about 108 billion of assets staked. Of those, there's only about 10 billion liquid staked. So that's actually a huge opportunity for the market to transform from staking towards liquid staking. And with persistence and P-stake, I think we're very well positioned to capture that opportunity and build really the liquid staking hub for the proof of stake economy. Now, we won't be able to do that without developers, and that's why we're looking for more and more people that can come and build with us. With the Persistence SDK, you can build app chains within the Persistence ecosystem. You can build modular apps directly on top of the chain, and you can build smart contracts using CosmWasm starting from June. With that, the Persistence Foundation is taking multiple steps to foster the developer community. We have grants available, so if you have certain use cases for SDK assets that you want to develop and come build, come apply for a grant. If you want to build certain monitoring tools, anything, you need delegations, come talk to us. We'll have bounties as well. We'll be supporting and organizing hackathons. Yeah, we're really opening up the ecosystem for more and more developers to come and build the liquid staking hub together with us and build all these use cases around it. So either way, come talk to us. You'll also find us at our booth later today. Me and my colleague Robin will be there. Basically, invite you all to come and speak to us. We have a little game as well in which you can win some swag. So we have some stickers, we have some webcam covers, and some T-shirts and some hats. Now, point of the game, I'm quickly gonna explain it already. So we have a staking die, we have a DeFi die, and you basically have to throw the dice. And if you get two of the same numbers, then if you don't get two of the same numbers, let's start there. You'll just get a simple sticker. However, if you throw two of the same numbers, then you can throw with the P-stake die. And if you throw the same number again, then you'll get all the swag that we have, all for you. Otherwise, you'll get some other stuff. And either way, you can just come by. We'll be looking forward to talk to you. Think that's it. If you're curious and you want to learn more, just yeah, come talk to us. I thank you so much for your attention, and see you soon. I'm not sure if there were any questions.
Thank you, Jeroen. Yes, we have some questions, actually. The very first question is, and this is like a very good one, how do you differ from other liquid staking protocols in Cosmos, like, for example, Lido Finance?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I think Lido is not really active yet in the Cosmos ecosystem, but they're obviously building towards it. I think every liquid staking solution has their own types of implementations. There might be a difference in the way of the tokenomics. The token model might be different. The validator set might be different in terms of governance. Trying to become really decentralized, which is of course a bit of a roadmap. So there's a lot of different things, but in the end, we're all trying to do the same thing, and it's really kind of making the entire market more capital efficient while still keeping everything secure at a chain level. So in that sense, we're very similar as well.
Yeah, competition is always good for innovation. And another question is, when p-atom airdrop?
I don't know. Can't comment on that at the moment.
I see. Once again, big applause for Jeroen, please.